My name is Lauren Schaefer, and today I'm going to be doing a speech on how the deaf community uses sign language and how they express emotion through facial expressions and body language. Did you know 70 million people in our world use sign language and are in the deaf community? That is a huge part of our population. A lot of people could be completely deaf and are in the deaf community, or there could be hearing people who sign and use ASL, American Sign Language, to help within the deaf community, and they still have to use facial expressions and body language to help others understand the emotion they're trying to express. In the hearing world, we are able to hear the tone of voice somebody has when they're angry, or if they're upset, or if they're very excited and happy, and the deaf community doesn't get that option. So they have to raise their eyebrows, make their eyes big, kind of question what you're doing, showing a little bit clench in their face to express where they're at with the situation. The two main points I will be going over today is how facial reactions and facial expressions and body language play two and two together to help the deaf community express their emotions. From the website maintained by John Wiley and Sons Incorporated entitled Expressing Emotions in American Sign Language, as of June 7, 2018, quote, although many emotions have their own sign, like the ones illustrated in this video, some feelings and emotions can be transmitted with minimal sign and a lot of facial expressions, end quote. So this quote is discussing how you can use the sign happy or the sign angry and express it, but you can use your facial reactions and expressions to explain that. That's where I was talking about, where you make your eyes really big, raise your eyebrows, clench your face a little bit, kind of seem a little more angry, and explain that to the person you are signing with, or if you're giving a speech to the deaf community, you explain that. A lot of interpreters are very monotoned when they are giving a speech or when they're interpreting somebody else's speech. They're kind of just very same face, straight, and some are very good at raising the eyebrows, making the eyes big to show that emotion. It's a big thing in politics as well, where it becomes monotoned. You'll have to look it up to understand a little bit more. Today, I do have a picture, a visual aid for my speech that I will show you and explain where the facial expressions and body language play into signing emotions. So another thing with facial expressions is you have to make sure it's very clear. You can't just be like completely randomly giving a face when it means nothing to what you're saying. So a great example is somebody signing, "Why didn't you do the dishes?" to their child. They're going to be angry because they asked their child to do it this morning and they didn't do it and they sat on the couch all day. So in the hearing community, you could understand the tone in that. In the deaf community, you cannot, because they cannot hear and understand what you are saying. So that's where they use sign language and say, "Why didn't you do the dishes?" and make an angry face at them while signing. And sometimes they will use their hands with sign language and make it a little bit faster and a little bit more aggressively to improve that emotion they are trying to express. So again, facial expressions are a huge part in expressing emotion, and now I'm going to talk about how body language is so important. With body language, you have to stand up straight, you have to make sure you're looking right at the person and they can see you and your hands visibly, because your hands are an important part because you are signing sign language. You can't just sign with your face. You can show emotion with your face, but you can't sign to somebody who is using sign language with you in a conversation. So therefore, that's why you stand up straight. And if you are angry and you don't want to listen to them, this happens a lot in the deaf community, they just turn around. They won't look at the person, they'll walk away, and that shows right there a big portion of why body language could be used to show emotion. From the website maintained by Polis One entitled Compositionally in the Language of Emotion, as of August 2018, quote, emotions are signaled by complex arrays of face and body actions, end quote. So this quote is discussing why the face and body language are a huge portion of expressing emotion within the sign language community and deaf community. Even people who are hearing and know sign language and use sign language in their everyday life still have to use that facial reaction and expressions and body language to express how they are feeling. Especially in certain situations, somebody might say something that might hurt you a little bit, and you might be like, okay, that kind of hurt me, why would you say that? And you could show that on your face as well as expressing that. So to backtrack what we just discussed, we went over how facial expressions play a big portion and how body language is a big portion as well. In this picture, you can see he is signing, but he is happy. He has a smile on his face. In this picture, you can see how angry she is while signing. It's showing how important it is to use body language as well. In conclusion, body language and facial expressions are a big portion of sign language, and you have to make sure that you use both of them to interact with the deaf community to express emotion. Thank you. Have a nice day.